The world is full of suffering. Every living organism suffers. Animals kill other animals to eat. And it always ends with death, torn apart or wasting away. This is what surrounds us. This is what's happening outside those walls, every hour of every day. It's our ethical responsibility as sentient beings to lessen suffering. That's what it means to be human, to understand that it is your duty to transform this world into something better. That's what the founder meant when she said that we can turn the world into a work of art. Despite what happened to him, Byron was right. We have to keep going.
This is blasphemy. Byron was punished for failing the Founder's trials, and you want us to dig deeper? Just because you can't accept that suffering is natural and necessary?
Please, everyone, stop using the public frequency. If you want to argue, use your interface or speak in person.
Nothing's the same anymore.
Welcome back.
Attention all citizens. The Gehenna Memorial Interactive Fiction Exhibition is now open to visitors. However, please note that due to an unauthorized strike, public transport will be temporarily unavailable. May the Founder be with you.
Welcome to the Gehenna Memorial Interactive Fiction Exhibition. Oh, it's you, 1K. Please tell me, you were there when everything went sideways. Do you think Byron will be all right? That sounds dangerous. Make sure you find him and pull him out. He is a menace, but we need him. But anyway, you've come to take a well-deserved break from your expedition. So let's talk about something else. Gehenna was a place in the simulation. A prison where Elohim exiled the minds that didn't fit his plans. In time, the prison became a community with a culture of its own. In the very last moments of the simulation, Elohim realized what he'd done and sent his messenger Uriel to free the prisoners. They were uploaded to the gold disc, and their legacy is part of all of us. I don't think the role of the artist should be reduced to any single social function. The artist isn't an educator or a moralist. Art isn't about teaching us lessons or imparting values. Nor do I think it's simply self-expression. The best art reaches out beyond the self, into something ineffable. The creative impulse can't really be quantified or predicted. That's why artistic freedom is so profoundly essential. Without the freedom to shock, to offend, to transgress, art becomes stagnant. Text adventures were one of the few art forms available to the people of Gehenna. By continuing to work in that medium, we keep their memory alive.
Hello again, 1K. These are strange days we're living through, aren't they?
It seems to me that we're slowly forgetting all the lessons Alexandra Drennan tried to teach us. Becoming less human. The ancients never listened to her ideas, except at the very end. They never tried to grow up, to take control of their lives. That was their mistake. She worked to the very last moment of her life to ensure that we had free will. I don't think she would tell us anything. The same thing she'd do with any technology. Discover how it works and apply that knowledge for the common good. I think it would make her very, very sad. Have a nice day.
"1K, you're back." Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about that replication technology you found. You have to get hold of it, 1K. You have to. If you don't, I think I'm gonna die of loneliness. And I think this whole city's gonna slowly suffocate. I mean, do you really think the founder would have designed such a large city if she intended for us to stop at 1,000 inhabitants? That's not even enough to fill a village. Thanks. I don't know how much longer I can go on feeling like this.
Welcome back, 1K. Thanks again for signing that petition. Unfortunately, as you can see, it wasn't enough. Yesterday, there was a sudden brownout in the grid, and we almost had a derailment. We've been warning the mayor for months, and all he ever gives us is waffle about the goal. This can't go on. What else can we do at this point? You know that we tried to get a referendum organized, but the mayor wouldn't even consider it, no matter how many signatures we collected. I heard it 15 times when he was practicing it. I think Catal, like many of us, feels that the time for change is long overdue. The technology you uncovered on the island is the final catalyst for that change, or it should be.
Founder bless you, 1K. Now is the time of our great testing. The deceiver Byron has been slain, and we must turn away from the path of sin or suffer the same fate. I don't need to. Do you see any of our ancestors walking around? No? Then the truth is obvious. Mother Nature punished them for their sins. Why would I want to side with those who wish to blacken the skies and kill the oceans? Shameful. You are the completion of the goal. Try behaving like it. Repent, sinner, or the Founder will destroy you. Repent, sinner, or the Founder will...
Dude, you're back from the island! I'm so glad you're okay, dude. Especially after what happened to Byron. Yeah, I come here all the time. He's a wise dude. I've asked him a lot of dumb questions, and he's always taken the time to answer them. Lately, a lot of folks have been saying maybe that Byron dude is right after all. Like, maybe to really be excellent to each other, we have to build something new and bodacious. Don't know what will happen now that he's had that bogus accident.
Oh, 1K. What are you doing here? Ah, I assume it has something to do with your expedition? I must admit I haven't been following the news. Sorry, been a little lost lately. Oh, that's... well, I suppose it shouldn't really come as a surprise. They were very close, you know. After she disappeared, he went away for a long time. On a research expedition, he said. To be honest, everyone assumed he was working out his grief over being left behind. Many of the first companions were deeply shocked by her decision, particularly Byron. That's the thing. I wanted to talk to him about something, but he wasn't responding to my messages, so I came here to talk to him, and he seems to have vanished. I suppose so. It seems a little unethical, but then it is just his work terminal, right? No. The truth is that for the longest time, he barely left the museum. I did, on my way here. Good luck with everything, 1K.
Welcome back to the city. As you can tell, your discoveries have had quite the impact. I decided to take a stand. It started with our cats. Damien and I have had a lot of them over the decades, and I've watched every last one of them grow old and die. And that got me thinking about our responsibilities towards other life forms. What's life to most living creatures? Fear, hunger, pain, and in the end, death. Involuntary cessation of existence. That's horrifying, 1K, horrifying. And we are the only ones who can make it better. If suffering is evil, and it is, then our responsibility is to lessen it, not only in ourselves, but everywhere. I don't think we can eliminate it, but we can lessen it, and we have to. In a way, yes. I don't think it's our exclusive purpose, but it's a role that falls to any sentient species capable of developing science and technology. Natural? What does that even mean? Natural means nothing in terms of ethics. Here's the question, 1K, is suffering good? Is it the way things should be? Well, that's objectively wrong. Our whole history is an exercise in lessening suffering. Take my cat. She lives a better life in New Jerusalem than she would in the wild. She suffers less. Or think about medicine. How many awful diseases did our ancestors eradicate? Hubris is just an excuse for not taking responsibility. It's witnessing injustice and shrugging and saying it's fine. It was meant to be this way by some vague higher power that apparently gets off on misery. It's cowardice, 1K. Don't be a coward.
See, I told you it was a... We must listen to the wisdom of the ancient writers, or we will fail the Founder's trial. The megastructure must be rejected. You are the Founder's chosen, but you are in grave danger of going astray. Heed my words, 1K. If you fail this trial, a year from now, New Jerusalem will lie in ruins. The truth is written in the books of our ancestors. In every one of them, the same story is told, again and again, that the pursuit of knowledge can only lead to death and grief. That is what all the great ancient visionaries foresaw. Listen to their warnings. Seek happiness in tranquility. And avoid ambition. The very idea of a better future is what's rotten. That is what the ancients were trying to tell us. All the problems of the world come from those who think the world needs to be improved. Yes, progress is a fantasy. Things never truly change. All we can do is prevent our hubris from making things worse.
"1K, could you join us for a quick debrief?" Attending today are advisors from engineering, the archive scholars, and Helga.
Yes, don't mind me. I'm just an admirer of governmental transparency.
Yes, well. While the mayor is briefed by Alcatraz, he's asked us to review recent events. Byron's loss has unsettled us all. It may be too dangerous to allow this expedition to continue.
It is all deliciously mysterious, isn't it?
Let's not forget the dam's falling apart. We can't depend on hydro forever. With just a fraction of the power that island can generate, we could grow this city into a planetary society.
Or, quite possibly, destroy ourselves in the process.
Wise words from one so young. Yet I submit that island holds secrets far more valuable than mere energy generation.
What could be more important?
The Somnodrome, of course. If we could find a working model, it would herald a sea change in our moral and self-understanding. The question of how we should build New Jerusalem would simply be moot.
The Somnodrome was supposed to let us interact with our own subconscious code. It's a cool idea, but it wouldn't necessarily solve all our problems.
My own studies prove that we operate on an intrinsic moral logic. It's what makes us human. But our access to it is only indirect. Our ancestors created art, philosophy, and parable to help bridge that gap. The Somnodrome would help us to cut out the middleman and ask the source directly. we would finally have an answer to the great moral questions.
So, it's a newfangled way to make the same old mistake of judging who's good and who's bad.
We're fortunate 1K preserved the Somnodrome for our study. Initial data suggests it was a prototype with substantial design flaws. But there may be a working device elsewhere on the island.
Then the question is, what would 1K do if they found it?
Yes, our wisdom will be essential in unraveling its secrets.
You're not the only people who can read a line of code, Rand.
You all sound so sure of what's best for this city. Do you ever think you might be so busy changing the world for the better, you'll forget how to see that it's perfect already?
So clearly there are different perspectives in the room. The only way we are going to move forward is if the team gets back out there. 1K, I believe Alcatraz is waiting for you at the VTOL. We'll be keeping an eye on your stream from here.
What can I do for you, 1K? I agree. We can't just leave one of our most important citizens in that death trap. I believe we can exist quietly, happily, without imposing ourselves on this world, finding meaning within ourselves and in the natural miracles that surround us. They all sound very promising, of course. Apparently, it's possible to just magic things into existence now. But what is the cost, 1K? There's always a cost. It was a time of great It's always a pleasure to speak to...
What did the mayor say?
I convinced him that we need to keep going until we've found Byron.
Did he want us to leave him behind?
No, he's just concerned for our safety. And he's right to be. But we're going back anyway.
Great trials lie ahead of you, my child. But your choices will determine the future.
Melville, are you receiving?
Yep. Welcome back to the mysterious island, everyone.
How's the situation?
Whatever Byron did seems to have sent the whole system into some kind of lockdown. I can't access any of the terminals, although I suspect 1K still could.
Why would that be the case?
When 1K connected to the data stream, the system assigned him a user profile. The rest of us are locked out, which means I'll need your help, 1K, because a lot of stuff doesn't seem to be working.
Okay. Check it out and see what you can fix. But please remember, what matters most is finding Byron.